Natalya shoots on Ronda Rousey. This whole thing's been kind of building up, leading to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and hyping the match between Natalya and Ronda Rousey. And I don't know how much of this is based in reality and how much of it is a work. Clearly, it's a work and a storyline to build to the show. But it sounds like there could be a lot of real life shit underneath the surface to that. And in the best wrestling storylines, that's usually the case, as it is both. Um, Check out this clip here, and then we'll talk about it more on the other side. And you tell me, kind of, let me know what you think, I guess. Natalya just going off on Ronda Rousey on the After the Bell podcast with Corey Graves. Check out this clip.
I think Ronda's really arrogant. And because you're so naturally good at something, that makes you arrogant, but don't dismiss me for the love that you don't have for our industry. That's really how I feel.
Understandably so. And the way you explain that, it's something that...
And it's time for me to just unleash. It's time for me to stop trying to be perfect for everyone. It's time for me to go off the script a little bit. It's time for me to piss a few people off, including Ronda Rousey. And, she can smile at me dismissively and act like I don't count and act like I'm an enhancement talent and act like I'm not on her level, as she put it, non-charismatic, not worthy of being in the ring with her, not a main event player, boring, this, that, and everything else. But at the end of the day, I am still standing. And she's really not one to judge talent, because there's quite a few people that she knows that aren't still standing today. I'm still standing in WWE.
The way that she's delivering those lines is it sounds like it's coming from the heart. Does it not? I think, well, first of all, this is a great example of what the new kayfabe is, right? Because we all know so much about the wrestling business nowadays that we almost know too much. And a really smart work, like the MJF one, for example, I'll die on that sword. It's a work. The whole thing's a work. It's a work. It's a work. It's a work. Very good one. One of the best ones. But I think this is a really good one, too. And I think this is an example of that new kayfabe where we know so much in real life. How can they take that and twist it and make it, spoon feed it to us in a storyline that we can buy into, to want to buy the pay-per-view, which nobody buys, but you get what I'm saying, to want to see that match. I think there's a lot of truth to it. We always hear, and that's what I'm saying, kind of we all know too much at this point. We all know that Ronda talks a lot of shit and at times sounds a lot like she doesn't respect the business, or feels that because she's a bigger star or because she's a real, fighter, that somehow she's above everybody else in professional wrestling and the women's division. She's this elite level talent and just kind of looks down her nose, or just doesn't have that respect for people, everybody else that's just doing it. I'm sure she respects Natty. I think every wrestler worth their shit in wrestling, but especially the females, obviously, they're going to respect Natty. Natty's queen bitch. She said in that podcast that, everybody worth a shit, every woman's wrestler worth a shit in that company in the last 10 years went through her. And they did. And that's not her being, that's not her bragging or anything like that. That's legit. Natty that's why she's been there so long too. She is that gatekeeper, like you need to, she's the one that's gonna get you comfortable in the ring. She's the one that's gonna kind of teach you the WWE way, get you up to speed. And it's a very, like, every company has those people, and I always have throughout the years that, when you're trying to build somebody, you pair them up with this person for a while, someone the worker, the workhorse, that can really like build them up and teach them and carry them along the way. I do think that Ronda probably has a bit of that, but I also think that it's a work a lot of times too, or played up. I think a lot of the trash that Ronda talks out in public, she feels like she's playing wrestler. I think she's talking trash to talk trash. And she was always a trash talker in UFC. That's what fucking sold all her fights. She's a born trash talker. Matter of fact, she's muzzled in WWE. She's watered down in WWE because she's got to read scripts and shit like that. And she can't go. She cut hell of promos in UFC. She wasn't a great talker then, even either, but she was believable because she's such a bitch and she's so like, she puts on that bitch face and she's ready to just tear somebody's arm off, legit. And she gets that across in words, and I think WWE could let her fly and use that more. So I think Ronda works that kind of shit to a certain extent, or runs with it at the very least. And I think Natalya's smart enough to cash in on that too, to know that Ronda has this reputation, and probably to a certain extent backstage is not liked by the women's wrestlers for shit like that. So she's able to take that and twist that into this really great storyline. And I really do want to put this over and give props to WWE on this. I think the MJF thing is working magic over in AEW. They're taking the slow burn approach with that. But this one, like, this is kind of outside WWE's norm to really bring it into reality to that extent and be on, like, online shooting on each other and, like, doing interviews and really talking trash about each other like that. I feel like they've done a really good job of using that and building this up for this storyline. It's something, as I record this, Money in the Bank hasn't happened yet. It's something that I'm excited to see. I want to see Natty wrestle Ronda because I feel like there's a beef there. And that's fucking great. And they did this before with Becky and Charlotte too, earlier in the year, or late last year for Survivor Series. More of this in wrestling. This with the MJF, all of that. Like, kayfabe doesn't have to be dead. You can use it in different ways. You can go out there and you can spill all your beans about the business and then tell all about it. And then once somebody says one thing, now all of a sudden everybody's heard that. Everybody thinks that, right? So, like Thunder Rosa in AEW, for example, everybody thinks she sandbags people now. So you can take that and you can, I don't know that you want to use that directly, but you can somehow throw something in where a girl sticks up for the locker room or speaks up and says, nobody even in the locker room likes you, and like bring a little bit of reality into that. Now, because we know too much as wrestling fans, we've heard this story. We know, oh my God, that's true. People have said that. That's that thing that was said about her. Ronda Rousey, they said that about her. Natty's shooting. It's smart. It's smart. It's the new kayfabe, and it's something that they should continue to do more of and find new ways to do. And I hope that they can let talent go a little bit too, because Ronda is not living up to her potential as a professional wrestler right now. She's made to be a professional wrestler, but she's not made to be scripted. WWE is not a good fit for her. And I'm not saying that, everybody go to AEW or anything, but WWE would be a great fit for her. It's the biggest show and she's the biggest star, but it's something that's going to affect Logan Paul too, because these people aren't going to be able to talk like they can talk. They're talkers, but they're not actors. They're not thespians. They can't read the trash that's written by these peasants backstage, the little writer boys. And just make magic out of it. You gotta let Ronda go out and sell a fight like she's been doing, like she did all the way up to get her to where you gave her a contract. Now we're gonna take all of that shit away from you and teach you to do it our way. And you're gonna be shitty and mediocre at it, and you're not gonna draw the money for us that we invested in you, and we're gonna wonder why it's all a big fucking flop and a bust. Okay? Nobody likes Ronda. They should like Ronda because she's the baddest bitch on the planet. And she should be that and not this, whatever the fuck this is. But it's dope. Props to Natty for being able to be relevant still, this many years in, to be able to put herself into a storyline that's going to get some attention. That's dope as fuck. So props to her, and I'm excited to watch this match and on to the next. Hey, thanks for checking out that clip. Don't forget to check out other clips here on the channel. And while you're there, throw a like, throw a subscribe. And don't forget to check out full episodes each and every Sunday of the Pro Wrestling Podcast.